They laughed at her, mocked her, told her she was crazy and delusional, because in a world obsessed with lab-made formulas, clinical trials, and Silicon Valley science, she dared to believe in something ancient, something her grandmother whispered to her as a child. A drink, a tonic, a simple Ayurvedic blend passed down through generations of women in her family. A recipe Western investors called ridiculous, outdated, village nonsense. But what they didn't know was this, that village nonsense would one day shake the entire $4 trillion wellness industry and turn a 23-year-old Californian woman into the CEO of a $900 million empire. Welcome to Hidden Fortune. Her name was Verma. Born in Northern California, raised by a single mother, but shaped by someone else entirely. Her grandmother, Amaya, who lived in a quiet village in Kerala, India. Every summer, B would visit her, and every morning, her grandmother would hand her a small clay cup filled with a warm, golden drink. This is not for your stomach, child. This is for your strength. It tasted strange, spicy, earthy, soothing. But whenever B got sick, exhausted, or sad, the drink worked. Always. She didn't know it then, but that secret family tonic was a deeply rooted Ayurvedic blend, one that ancient healers used for centuries for energy, clarity, and resilience. Fast forward to college. B studied business and nutrition, juggling 3 part-time jobs and barely sleeping. Stress was her shadow. Fatigue was her enemy, until one night, drained, overwhelmed, and close to burnout, she remembered her grandmother's words, "You already have what you need to feel whole." So she made the drink, and everything changed. 1 cup, and the fog lifted. 1 week, and her energy skyrocketed. 1 month, and everyone around her noticed. "What are you taking? Why do you look so alive lately? How do you do it?" She smiled. Should she tell them that the secret wasn't from Harvard, or Google, or a billion-dollar lab, but from a woman in a small Indian village? She hesitated, and that hesitation would soon cost her everything. B had an idea. What if I bottled this? A wellness drink inspired by Ayurveda, but designed for the modern world. She spent her savings, $613, buying ingredients, testing flavors, experimenting with formulas. When she finally created a drink that tasted good, worked instantly, and felt magical, she pitched it to her classmates. And guess what they did? They laughed. "Girl, this looks like yellow soup. People want protein shakes, not grandma tea. Who will buy this?" Spiritual hippies. Even professors dismissed her. One said, "The wellness industry is driven by science, not folklore." Another said, "This won't work in America. It's not sophisticated enough." Every comment felt like a dagger, but she remembered her grandmother's steady voice. "Let them laugh. Great ideas sound foolish at first." So she pushed on. But things got worse. B rented a tiny stall at a college wellness fair. She set up her bottles, printed a cheap banner, arranged free samples. Then she waited, and waited, and waited. People walked by. Some didn't even look at her table. Some tasted it and spit it out dramatically, just to mock her. One guy even said, "Is this curry juice?" She sold 0 bottles. Her confidence collapsed. Her pride shattered on the floor. That night, she cried until her eyes swelled shut, ready to quit everything. But then she remembered something she hadn't thought about in years. Her grandmother's voice. But this time the tone was different. Urgent, heavy, final. B one day this recipe will save you. And when it does, promise me you'll share it with the world. 2 days later, her grandmother passed away, and B made her decision. She wouldn't quit. Not now. Not ever. B didn't have money, but she did have a smartphone. So she filmed a raw 12-second video. No makeup, no edits, just me. And the ancient drink that rewired my entire life. She didn't expect anything, but overnight,
It hit 1.2 million views. People flooded the comments. Where can I buy this? I need this now. My anxiety is eating me alive. Please make this available. That single viral moment brought 12,000 pre-orders. She had no supplier, no factory, no employees, just a recipe, and a storm of demand she couldn't control. She panicked, but she also realized this was her moment. So she found a tiny local commercial kitchen, started making the drink herself, barely slept, worked 19 hours a day, delivered orders from the back of her old Toyota. But something incredible happened. People who bought the drink reordered, and reordered again and again, because it worked. Testimonials exploded. Influencers reviewed it. Celebrities shared it. The world was paying attention, and so was Silicon Valley. Investors started calling, but instead of offering support, they offered insults disguised as deals. One said, "Your product is cute, but you need adults to run it." Another, "We'll offer you $700,000 for 75% of your company. You keep the story, we'll handle the business." They were trying to steal her legacy, but the worst came from a major wellness corporation. "Your branding is amateur, your science is weak, your recipe is folklore, but we like the buzz. We'll acquire the formula outright, $400,000. For $100,000. To buy out her grandmother's legacy." Her hands shook, her chest tightened. For a moment, she considered it. It was more money than she ever imagined. But then she remembered the promise she made, and she said 3 words, "This is priceless," and she walked out. A few weeks later, B received an email from Dr. Miles Carter, a biochemist from Stanford. He had seen her TikTok. He wanted to study her drink. Skeptical, she agreed. 3 weeks later, he called her into his lab. "Sit down," he said, visibly shaken. "This formula is extraordinary."
He explained that the blend she made, almost by instinct, almost by memory, had unique anti-inflammatory, adaptogenic, and metabolic properties that modern supplements had been trying to replicate for years. "B, you have something revolutionary." His scientific report changed everything. Suddenly, the same investors who mocked her came crawling back. But it was too late, because B had something far more powerful now. Proof. With Dr. Carter's help, B perfected the formula, scaled production ethically, partnered with responsible suppliers in India, built a brand rooted in culture, science, and story. She named it Amaya, after her grandmother. Within the first year, Amaya hit. Heavy checkmark $38 million in sales. Heavy checkmark featured in Vogue, Forbes, and the New York Times. Heavy checkmark endorsed by doctors, athletes, and wellness influencers. Heavy checkmark stores selling out in minutes. In year 3, Amaya was valued at $900 million. But B remained the same girl her grandmother raised. She didn't move mansions, didn't buy flashy cars, didn't become arrogant. Her greatest luxury was building a women's health foundation in India, honoring the woman who believed in her long before the world did. In a major health expo in Los Angeles, B was invited as a keynote speaker. As she walked off stage, a man approached her. He looked nervous, embarrassed, avoidant. She recognized him instantly. It was the investor who once told her, "Your formula is folklore. We'll buy it for $400,000. He cleared his throat. "Bia, we'd like to discuss a potential partnership." She smiled politely. "I appreciate that," she said. Then she paused, looked him straight in the eyes, and said, "But I built this empire on the voice of someone you never respected." She walked away. The audience behind her began to applaud, not because they heard the words, but because they could feel the power in them. Today, Amaya is a global wellness company, used by millions, loved by all ages, and B continues to say the same thing in every interview. "I wasn't selling a drink. I was continuing a legacy. My fortune wasn't found. It was passed down in a clay cup." She proved that genius isn't always born in labs. Sometimes it's whispered across generations, written in recipes, carried in memory, and mocked by those who never understood it. Because every fortune begins as a hidden one, you just have to look close enough to see it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. And don't stop here. Tap the next video on your screen. I'll see you there.